Hi, I'm Ken Hansen, and I'm the author of The Light of Our Yesterdays. I got the idea for the book back in 1999. I was looking to write a book that had some kind of impact. And I was talking to my wife, Jenny, about it at the time, and she said, I would like to read a book about when Jesus came back the second time. And I thought, well, I think that's been done a little bit. But I thought about it, and I started thinking about it more. And I decided to write a book that had both our modern aspect with all the terrorism that was going on and flip into that the idea that there was a parallel world where there had never been a Jesus and yet there was still terrorism going on. And how would those two worlds play with each other? Then I really started developing characters, and I started thinking about, on both worlds, how would those characters relate? Because I didn't want to have two completely separate stories. I wanted to have two stories that came together. And so I really had to think about the characters and their development from the standpoint of how would that character do in this world, and how would a character similar to that do in another world, and how could I bring those two together? And then ultimately sat down and started writing out chapter 1 and went from there. What I'd really like people to get out of this is, I could have just written a thriller, but I didn't want to write a thriller per se. But I wanted to write a book that was exciting like a thriller and yet made you think. That's what I think this book does. It has many of the components of a thriller, keeps the pace moving throughout most parts, but every now and then we'll pause and start asking some philosophical questions, some questions about religion, some questions about who we are as a society, the effect of religion upon our society. And I think those are important questions that we need to think about. And it's all tied together with terrorism and the hatred we see really day to day, not just between religious groups, but between nations, between political parties. And it's interesting because my publishing company, Odium Odi Press, Odium Odi in Latin means I hate hatred. And that's what the goal of this book is, to get people to think about really the destructive power of hatred and how we need to stop thinking that way. I think that's really the goal of this book.